to understand this and do something about it. For instance, the companies, I see this for some time. More and more companies have departments dedicated to sustainability and give out to society. Nobody accepts anymore that you make a lot of money as a company and you give back nothing to society. You have to do it. And at the same time that you develop your activity, you also have to take care of what's in touch with you, what they normally call stakeholders. So, people around the world are more and more informed about this. And that's where social media comes in. And as they are more informed, they also want that to happen with them. So in time, it's not tomorrow, but in time, I trust that this is going to change a lot the world. Nobody knows what's going to be the model, but I hope it's going to work for the best.
Mr. Yunus?
Yep. In 1997, Bangladesh, which is a population of 160 million people, didn't have much of a telephone. We had about 500,000 telephones for the whole country. And that's the year we created a company called Grameen Phone and wanted to bring mobile phone in the hands of the poor women in the villages. The poor women. Everybody thought it's a crazy idea. Why poor people need a phone? Who is she going to call? I said, no, she's not going to call anybody. She'll make a business out of it. And it became a very successful telephone company. Today, in 2012, we have 80 million telephone subscribers in the country. So change between 1997 to today, 2012.
80 million.
80 million, 80 million. We have only 30 million families in the country with 160 million people. So if you look at 30 million families, you have more than 2 telephones per family across the country. So once you have the telephone, you have access to everything now. Internet access comes right away with that. All we are waiting for is a broadband for everybody. And that mobile phone we see as the kind of future. Everything will be done with the mobile phone. Every other things will disappear. It will become the Aladdin's lamp. You want education, you want healthcare, you want business, you want communication. Everything will be there. Today we talk about social media as a kind of a cute little thing and look funny, interesting. And by time, it will be the media. That's what people will be communicating with each other. And at the same time, you bring every single healthcare issue at the person level, at the family level, at the person level, not at the clinic level, not at the hospital level. One of the things we are trying to do in Bangladesh to address the maternal death issue because of the MDG goal, we were lagging behind on that one. So we want to make sure we achieve that. So we are looking for the ultrasound, and I was complaining that ultrasound equipment is too bulky, so expensive, is hospital-oriented, it is clinic-oriented. I said, why don't you make it very simple? After all, it's all about chips. So I challenged some of the makers of those gadgets. And finally, they accepted it, created a small one. I said, well, looks good, but why don't you make it a mobile phone? And it should be an application in the mobile phone. I download that application, and it becomes an ultrasound. And I attach the probe and take the images and send the images to the doctor, wherever that is. So this can become a tool of diagnostic services. So you can think about any diagnostic services, your pulse rate, your health, your temperature, your body information, everything can be converted, all ECGs or whatever you do in a big machine can be converted into mobile phone practices.
In Brazil, this kind of things happen a lot. The mobile changed the life of lots of people for business, for entrepreneur. But I want to understand from you why you think that the microcredit in Brazil didn't grow so fast as we think that could be, and the potential that Brazil have for the microcredit.
Yes, tremendous scope for microcredit. One of the basic reasons why in many countries it could not expand, because it doesn't have any legal home. Because law doesn't recognize them. So it's done by the NGOs. NGOs do it as another service.
NGOs cannot borrow money in Brazil.
NGOs too, first of all, NGO cannot take deposits.
Okay.
If you can't take deposit, then you cannot lend money to the extent that you could. So NGOs are always asking for money to lend money.
So it will never happen in Brazil because I think the big banks, they don't have the fine-tuning of doing the microcredit. So, or you think that Brazil should change the law about microcredit to make it happen in Brazil?
Most often, I am kind of introduced in format like this as he's the banker to the poor. And I always ask the people, I said, if you call me the banker to the poor, it's fine with me. But what do you call the other bankers? You have to now say they are the banker to the rich. Because that's a distinction between me and them. So they operate in a bank which is a bank for the rich. And their law is not appropriate law for the bank for the poor. And we created a law for Grameen Bank, the bank that we created. It's a separate law. So that's why we can function. We lend out over $1.5 billion every year to 8.5 million borrowers, all women. And we have no shortage of money because we take deposits and lend money. We don't go to the government, we don't go to World Bank, we don't go to any international agency. It's all locally mobilized funds. There's plenty of money. And even the deposit of the borrower, the savings of the borrower becomes a huge, big savings. Today, these 8.5 million borrowers have nearly $1 billion in savings in their saving deposits. So money is not a question. It's a legal framework which makes all the trick. But no government, no parliament is making that law. Once you make that law, anybody can do that.
You should tell this to Dilma.
I do that.
Okay. Now I have some questions from Twitter that we've been connected all over the world. It's from @JohnFries. He's asking, how who write this? The letter is, how do you ensure that social media does not become narcissistic? How do you keep it a tool of the people? Make sense?
Yeah, let me try. When in a river, water flow slows down and stops, it gathers all kind of polluted situation among the water because it's a stuck water. But if rivers continues to flow, the faster it flows, cleaner the water is because it keeps moving. So social media is like that. If you keep on using it, all those mess that will coming around, narcissistics and all those things, but it will, the big flow of exchange among the people will bring it at the people level so that you can mobilize, you can exchange. This is a conversation, global conversation you would like to have on social issues, political issues, economic issues, and every single issues. Because this is your living room. That's where you talk to your friends, your acquaintances, and so on. I think this is a fantastic thing that happened. But technologically, it will change so fast. 10 years from today, when we'll be talking about social media, we'll not be talking about the one that we do today. There'll be completely different kind of social media and much more efficient, much more effective, and much wider than which we have today.
The Rio +40, no, in 20 years.
Absolutely.
Tell me, Anna.
But there are these effects.
Mick.
There are these effects also. As we see in several elections, that the media is used to raise money and to spread ideas, which is not necessarily bad, but it means that, I mean, it could be used. It could be used not exactly for a totally good cause. It could be used also for other causes, not necessarily bad, but a lot of profit-taking goals. So, how you are the expert in media, how we would attack this?
Yeah,
we can't.
Yes, the things are changing. And I was thinking about what Mr. Yunus said, Anna, and I can see about the barrier for the microcredit in Brazil. I can see that is the law. And for both of you, I think in different ways with energy business and microcredit business, but both touching hands with social business. What is the main obstacle to multiply the impact of what you guys have been doing in different areas, of course, but with common goals. I can say that is to improve people's lives.